Hello, good morning, and welcome to Saturday Somm-Things with Sian. You'll notice I have no guest today. I am literally all by myself. I've been singing to myself, but then James told me there's copyright on that song, but the song, you know it goes, all by myself, sad face. But I'm here, and we have some bubbles to taste. So we get a lot of questions, people coming into the store, and they're looking for just a cheap bottle of bubbles to make mimosas with, and it's a pretty standard question, happens a lot. I fully support the quest because I think bubbles are wonderful with or without orange juice. There's also a number of different cocktails that you can make using sparkling wines, and we can do Kir Royales, champagne cocktails, Bellini's a popular one too. So for today, I thought we'd pick out 3 different sparkling wines, different price points, but all work very well for classic mimosas, and we'll do a little taste test on them. So we have a Prosecco, very popular in the market right now. People are into this price point, flavor-wise. They do tend to be a little bit sweeter. It's not the case for all of them, but this one, when I just went through and tasted these, the Cara Mia is a little bit sweeter than the Cristalino Cava, and that's stylistic, but again, like I say, one producer's sweet style could be completely different compared to another's. And then we're going to finish up with a real champagne, and we'll go into, with the real champagne, the difference between that and then other affordable options also from France, made in the same method, very labor intensive, but a lower price point from different regions. So the Prosecco, this is Cara Mia. So Prosecco is the grape, and it's a beautiful style of wine. This particular one, Cara Mia, means my beloved. So it does very well at Valentine's Day and like anniversaries. Pretty affordable. I like this wine. Like most Proseccos are pretty traditional in terms of like white flowers, like peaches, really easy. And like I say, this one has a little bit of sweetness to it. There's no shame in preferring sweet wine, but I think when you're picking out a bottle of wine for mimosas, ideally you would have something a little bit on the drier side, because the second you add orange juice to it, you're going to add a lot more sweetness to it too. And as a general rule, like the same as cooking, like why would you buy a wine to cook with that you wouldn't drink with? Why would you buy a wine for mimosa that you wouldn't drink by itself? Not everybody wants a mimosa. You've got a group of people over in the house. Somebody just wants it pure as it is. So think about that too. For the cava, this is Cristalino Cava. On the shelf here, we have their brut, we have their extra dry, and we have their rosé. And extra dry, just for confusing sake, just because life can be hard sometimes, actually means that the wine will be a little bit sweeter. So if you know that you prefer a sweeter style, or you've had sparkling wine in the past that was dry and you just didn't enjoy it, it didn't feel like it had a lot of flavor, maybe look out for the bottling by the same producer that has extra dry on the label. This Cristalino Cava I like a lot. So Cava and Prosecco and Champagne are all different. So one of the major differences here, Prosecco, Prosecco grape from Italy. Cava is sparkling wine from Spain, a number of different regions within Spain that are authorized to produce cava using different grapes. So the grapes there are Macabeo, Xarel·lo, and Parellera, different blends. And so that'll make a different wine than Prosecco, well, just by characteristic. And then you get to Champagne, and you're looking at mostly Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, Pinot Meunier, and also making different types of wine. So the flavors will change there. Production methods change too. So a lot of Prosecco, especially the lower price ones, are made like in the Charmat method. So literally a large tank, and then the sparkling procedure is manipulated and created in the tank, and it's just cheaper. It's easier to produce and quicker. Cava traditionally is done with the aging part of champagne or sparkling wine with the lees in contact with the wine in the bottle, instead of it being done like by hand with the champagne, like very meticulous turning process of riddling. They'll use a big Giro palette in there again, so it turns that step in champagne production from something like 2 to 3 months down to 2 to 3 weeks. So it kind of speeds up the process on there, and again makes it a little bit cheaper, but not necessarily worse. Cheaper is not always bad, I think. So this one I am a big fan of. We use this a lot in restaurants for mimosas. So if you're worried about having something subpar, restaurants, you're doing a lot of production, and it's consistent. Like, you don't want to spend a lot of money. Definitely look for these cavas. These typically, this one I pulled out of the cold box, 666 was the price today. I think it's wonderful. Sometimes we'll have that on sale as well. And then remember too, when Italy is on sale, that includes sparkling wine from Italy. When Spain is on sale, that includes your sparkling wines. There's always something on sale that you can buy. There have been restaurants in the past where we bought like 30, 40 cases of these a week, which is insane. I'm going to try it with a little orange juice. Tastes like danger. Like, if you think about bottomless mimosas, use caution on bottomless mimosas. This can be a little dangerous. James was just telling me a story about the last time he had a bottomless mimosa, and he hasn't done it since. I think it's a necessary, like, rite of passage, honestly. You got to have at least one dangerous bottomless mimosa experience. Just drink with friends, and you'll be okay, I promise. Another one is champagne. So for champagne, like, you're going to spend more money on champagne because of production method and the name and the history that goes along with that. But also consider within the region of France, you can get French sparkling wine from a number of other regions. I think there's about 7 different regions that produce crémants. So you can have Crémant d'Alsace, Crémant de Loire, Crémant de Bourgogne. So these are regions within France that are also making sparkling wine. If they're labeled as Crémant, it must be made in the method traditionnel, so all the labor-intensive steps and procedures that go into producing champagne, but using grapes from those regions. So like in Crémant de Bourgogne, it'll be Pinot Noir and Chardonnay, so the same grapes that you'll see from champagne production, but significantly cheaper. So if you're in the aisle and you're looking at all the champagne and you see $40 a bottle, $80 a bottle, and you don't want to spend that much, but you don't care for mimosa and you don't like cava and you want to do something maybe just a little bit more special, look out for some of those. Those also are delicious by themselves, but really a nice way to kind of class up your mimosa experience. Other ways that you can do, the Bellini is a very popular Italian cocktail. So traditionally that would be your Prosecco with peach sorbet. That's the ghetto way to do it if you don't have peach liqueur. But if you have like a peach puree, you can make a Bellini out of that. A Kir Royale, something I just want to bring up here because I was taught this at a very young age. But a Kir Royale is going to be creme de cassis, which is a blackcurrant liqueur. You literally put a drop of it in the glass and then add your champagne to it. You can do a Chambord as a substitute. So Chambord is going to be a raspberry liqueur, and you can use that instead, but it has a slightly sweeter flavor profile to it. And then if you ever want to do a Kir, just a classic Kir, it's the same cassis, the creme de cassis, but just with a dry white wine. Champagne cocktail, like traditionally, that's always a good one too, especially for, let's say, the morning after, and you're kind of restoring yourself. You're using a brown sugar cube, like one of the sugar in the raw. Drop that into the glass, soak it with some Angostura bitters, and then pour the champagne over the top. So that bitters is kind of one of those like good tonic things that kind of helps settle your stomach. But it also creates a wonderful color on the glass too. When you're making that, it does like foam up, so just kind of be patient. It's going to be worth it, I promise. I'm not going to put any orange juice in my champagne today. This is Nicolas Fouillat. It's a great champagne. It's actually Sheila's house champagne. Must be nice, but that's what she keeps in the fridge for people coming over, and it's kind of her go-to. And it's classic champagne production. The dosage on here is a little bit low, so it is a drier style champagne. It's about 40% Pinot Noir and 40 Pinot Meunier and then 20 Chardonnay. So a really classic blend. It's always done well in the Denver market, and this is their traditional blue bottle. Yeah, it's delicious and yummy. I'm not going to put juice in it. I'm going to drink it, and then we're going to get back to work. So thanks for joining us. Do come in, stock up for the holiday weekend for your mimosas. Remember, cava, prosecco, much more budget-friendly ways to party all weekend. So cheers, thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.